So today I'm going to be recording my mock draft for the entire first round. This is probably going to be the second last one that I do. And we've got, obviously we're going to be looking at picks 1 through 30. I'm watching a lot more of these prospects, and this is basically what I think is going to happen, not my own personal opinions, because there's some guys that I'm just not the biggest fan of. For example, if you guys don't know, I'm not that high on Alex Sarr. I'm probably one of the only people that is not particularly high on Alex Sarr. To be fair, I'm not high on Alex Sarr to Atlanta. It's not that I don't like Alex Sarr. It's not that I think Alex Sarr sucks or anything. I'm just personally not high whatsoever on this guy going to Atlanta. Before we get on, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We are trying to 7,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Right now, we are just over 200 away, lads. So, anyway, now let's go on to it at number 1. Let me just get that one. There we go. Number 1, I got Zachary Issache. I got Issache going number 1. I just think he fits better for Atlanta. I just think he fits their timeline. I think what you're going to get out of an Alex Sarr, you can literally get off Onyeka Okongwu. You can get off Clint Capella. I don't know how good his defense is. I think his offense is nowhere close to being ready to be a star at the NBA level. And his defense, I don't think is as good right now as people expect. And people are talking about him like a Wemby level defender. That is crazy. Yeah, he averaged 1.5 blocks a game, but he couldn't really see the floor in Australia, which isn't the greatest league in the world, to be honest. When it comes to Issache, he's going to play right away. He's going to shoot the ball pretty well. He's going to defend pretty well. And he's not going to be... You just know he's got a much higher floor. You know he's going to be able to contribute right away. He is the perfect guy to have on that Atlanta team. One of his strengths is not creating off the dribble. He can't really create his own shot, but when you've got Trae Young, you've got DeJounte, you don't really need to do that. I think Issache is the perfect pick, which is why at number 2, Alex Sarr. Please tell me that these aren't all... they've all gone off. They've all gone off center, all the pictures. But Alex Sarr is in here at number 2. I have him at number 2 because I think Washington's the perfect place for him. He can develop there. Because I think giving him an opportunity to develop in 3 to 4 years, could be better than Issache. The problem is that obviously the Hawks aren't trying to wait 3 to 4 years for a guy to become a good NBA center. I think he is athletic. He's probably not as athletic as people make out. He can jump high, but he was testing slower than... He was genuinely testing slower than Zach Edey at times. I think he's all right. I think he'll be fine. But I will say, yeah, I'm not the highest on Alex Sarr, but I think number 2 is a perfect spot for him. Then we have got Donovan Clingan at 3. I think Donovan Clingan at 3. I don't think it's going to be the Rockets. I think it's going to be the Nets. I think the Rockets are going to make some sort of a trade being the Nets get their picks back and the Rockets, or Nets get their picks back and number 3, which is one of their picks, and the Rockets get, what's his name? Mikal Bridges, and I think they have a couple of Phoenix picks and a few of the Phoenix picks. I think that's what's going to happen. I think that they make this trade, maybe they make this trade a little bit later, but what I think is going to happen is that the Brooklyn Nets are hoping to sign a big free agent. I don't think they do because I think people want to play Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is good, not great. So I think that at number 3, Donovan Clingan. At number 4, we're going to go with Stephon Castle. I think I would have had Topic here had he not been injured. I think Topic is going to slide. I have Topic going higher than I think personally he's going to go. I think with his wingspan, he is 6'7" without shoes. So with shoes, you're looking close to 6'9" for Topic. But his wingspan is he's a negative wingspan. So I don't know how much of a difference that makes realistically, but teams are going to use that as a negative thing in all their testing. But Stephon Castle, not really going to shoot the ball. He's going to be a good defender. He's going to give you, he's going to give you something. And he's not going to play the 1. He's not the right one beside Wembanyama. You got to find a true point guard to play with him and Vassell on the wings. You can maybe get off Keldon Johnson and get a point guard in there somewhere. But no, I think he's pretty good. I would 100% not be opposed to him going to 4. At number 5, Matas Buzelis. I think that number 5, he is without doubt number 5. I think this is the most certain out of any pick. He's not going past Detroit. I'm telling you, his agent, his brother is like the GM of Detroit. Or not the GM, but like the guy calling the shots. I'm telling you, there's no way that he falls past 5. At the same time, he is a long, rangy wing. He's testing well at workouts. He has some potential to shoot the ball. I've always said about him, the idea of Buzelis is better than the player of Buzelis, which is fine. But at the end of the day, I still think, look, you're taking this guy without question in the top 10. And I think Detroit will go and want to take him. Does someone like a Dalton Connect fit better? Maybe, but I don't see Buzelis dropping past 5. And I've Dalton Connect going 6 to the Charlotte Hornets. If Stephon Castle's on the board, I think they say, screw you. We don't care that you're not working out for us. We're taking you. But when it comes to Dalton Connect, I think he's going to come in and he's going to be able to play with the guys they already have. And that's one of the big things is that you've got a team that are... And look, you've got a team that they just don't have... I don't know what's wrong with them. They've got Brandon Miller, who's good. They've got Miles Bridges, who's good. They've got, what's his name, who's good. They've got LaMelo, who's good but injured. Mark Williams, a decent center. They should be way better than they are. They really should, but they're going to suck again next year. I think they're going to take Dalton Connect. I don't think they're going to go high upside. Like, Ron Holland is an option there, but I think they're going to take Connect. At 7, I have a weird feeling Rob Dillingham goes 7. Like, don't get me wrong. This is a complete shot in the dark. I understand there are a million reasons why Rob Dillingham shouldn't go 7. But I just think for Portland, it gives them 2 chances. Just like with Sacramento when they drafted a couple of point guards in a row. And it's like, it gives you more chances at getting a good one. Like, eventually they were like, cool, we have De'Aaron, we have Tyrese Halliburton, we're going to take one of them. And we're going to trade one of them. Like, I just don't know how set they are on Scoot Henderson. So I'm like, you take him, you bring him off the bench. Anthony Simons is going. Like, Anthony Simons is almost certainly gone. So you can maybe start the 2 guards. He can come off the bench. He can take his shots. The team's not going to be good. And if it turns out that Rob Dillingham is the better option than Scoot Henderson's stock is going to be high. You can make that trade. I don't see anything wrong with picking 2 players at the same position. If they draft point guard next year, there's something wrong. But I think Rob Dillingham at 7 could happen. At number 8 for the Spurs, I think Dejan Salone. Highest upside player in this entire draft. He's got length. He can shoot the ball a little bit. He is not his IQ level probably isn't there yet, but his like physical gifts for playing defense I think are there. And for him at number 8 to Spurs, I think they have time to develop him. I don't think the Spurs are in a win now mode. And look, it's not the end of the world putting another really good young French player with Wemby. Like, Wemby's an alien. You've still got another athletic freak here in Dejan Salone. At number 9, now hear me out. They're taking a big. I'm sorry, Memphis are taking a big. Memphis could trade up for Donovan McClingan. They are taking a big. And this is a team who, if you look at Memphis, a lot of their successful centers, Marc Gasol, Big Country, Jonas Valanciunas for the couple of years he was there. Like, the Grizzlies have actually had a lot of success with tall, slow-footed centers. And this is a franchise this is a player that I just think could feed off of Ja Morant. Like, imagine him being able to set screens for Ja going downhill, and anytime they double off Ja, just being able to dump it down to Zach Edey and score. You've got Jaren Jackson Jr., who'll hide some of his limitations on defense. I think Zach Edey to Memphis, the more I think about it, the more I like it. I think Kel'el Ware's, I would love to say Kel'el Ware go here, but I just have this weird feeling he's going to go 9. I have a really weird feeling Memphis are going to take him because I think the Brooklyn are going to be the ones to make the trade up. I think Memphis are going to trade up for Klingon. That is a thing that they're going to want to try to do, but I don't think it's going to happen, and I also think Klingon might be better than Edey. Then at number 10, we've got Ron Holland. So, when it comes to the Ignite players, they're so hard to judge. Like, I'm going to be reacting. There are drafts that have him as the number 2 pick, and I've seen him as low as 17. There's nobody in this draft that could go higher, could go lower, but he's a freak athlete. Like, at least you've got an unbelievable athlete in your team. And I think, like, if you are getting, no matter what, if you're getting a player of his athleticism, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with a number 10 just taking the highest upside player, the best player available. I think that's what Utah are going to do. He's going to go 10. At number 11, I have Reed Shepherd. I'd be saying there's no way Reed Shepherd falls to 11. I think he's going to slide. And he's a 6'1", 2 guard. I think he's going to slide. Like, he's a good enough defender. off the ball. He's gonna cooked on the ball. You can't really play him at the 1. His best case scenario is Fred VanVleet, which if you're getting Fred VanVleet in this draft, you're taking him top 5. But I don't think he's gonna be Fred VanVleet. I think him to the Bulls. I think he fits there. The Bulls are. I know the Bulls are trying to win, and I know the Bulls have. They're like 1-2, kind of sorted. Their wings sorted. I think he comes off the bench and almost anywhere where he goes. So I think he'll be fine for the Bulls. And you might be. I think if he falls past 8 to the Spurs, where I think if Salone's on the board, they'll take him over him. I could see him at 11. There is a 0, and I mean 0% chance if Cody Williams is on the board at 12, the OKC Thunder don't take him. Like, I've seen drafts where Cody Williams falls to 15. No. If he's on the board at 12, he's going 12. He's going to be a fine player. He's going to be drafted by the OKC Thunder. It's going to be, he's there or thereabouts as far as his level. He's a guy who was projected at one stage to go number 1 in this draft. He can shoot. Looked like he could shoot the ball at Colorado, just not on a high volume. But he's got decent length, really long arms, just like his brother. I think they take. I don't see a scenario where he falls past 12. I just don't. And 13 to the Kings, Jared McCain. The Kings are trying to replace Malik Monk. And I've seen so many guys falling here, and they're like, oh, this is their Malik Monk replacement. No, literally, if you want to replace Malik Monk, if you want to get your scoring, your shot creation off the bench, this guy, Jared McCain. If you want to replace Malik Monk, you are taking Jared McCain. And I think that's what they're going to do. They're not going to pay Monk. And what they're getting in McCain is they're going to be getting one of the most natural scorers in this year's draft. Like, he is easily one of these guys that could give you a loud 17 points a night early in his career. Not straight away, by the way, but within year 2 or 3, he could give you that. I think he's one of the better shot creators in this draft. And I'm surprised to see him fall as low as 25 in drafts. In a draft where there's no all-star level talent, someone who, if everything goes right in his career, could be an all-star level talent to be nearly out of the lottery is a surprise. Keyshawn George, we have at number 14. He's a good shooting, long wing. Especially if you're going double point guards with Scoot and Rob Dillingham, you kind of want to wing. I would consider them going for a power forward, but the timelines of some guys that could play there don't really add up. And hey, look, their team, they've got DeAndre Ayton. They're not going to take in somebody. I don't think they're going to take a big, to be honest. They've got some guys. The Portland Trail Blazers is probably better than expected. I think Keyshawn George, because he's long and can shoot the ball, so I think he'll be fine at 14. At 15, if he's there for Miami, I would love for Miami to get a Zach Edey, but Devin Carter. Devin Carter was a junior. He's going to play defense. He's going to score the ball pretty well. He's going to fit right in as a backup point guard for Miami. Heck, he could start at the 1 for Miami. We've seen the Gabe Vincents of the world have success, and I think that he's an upperclassman. He's a junior. These type of players suit well in Miami, and if Miami draft him, I can't see. When was the last time Miami drafted a bust? I genuinely can't remember. Off the top of my head, Precious Achiuwa wasn't a bust, especially with how low he was drafted. Can't remember who he took in 2021. Jovic, no, might have been a steal of the draft. Jaime Jaquez might have been one of the steals of the draft. Obviously, Tyler Hero was a steal. Bam Adebayo was a steal. And Miami draft well, and if Miami can take him, I think he'll be a really good pick. At 16, we've got Isaiah Collier going to the Sixers. I don't think the Philadelphia 76ers are going to... I don't think they'll pass on him. I think this is you're able to take a shot on a player at this stage. And I would be shocked if they passed on Collier. The number 1 recruit coming into the year. A guy who actually played pretty well at USC. As bad as USC, where he played pretty well himself. It's just that he came in listed at 6'5", and he's about 6'2". So that's a bit of a problem. Still, though, I think him falling, he was projected to go number 1 in November. If you can get him at 16, it's a steal. 17, Bronny James. Bronny James going 17 to the Lakers. That is my big shock of a call. Is Bronny James 17 to the Los Angeles Lakers. You guys might call me crazy, and that's fine. Bronny at 17 to the Lakers, because I think at 22 the Phoenix Suns will take him if he falls past 17, and I think the Lakers are scared of losing LeBron. They're very scared of losing LeBron. I don't think they're going to let Bronny James get past them at 17. I think who else is available here? Khalil Ware. I don't think the Lakers are other than Austin Reeves, the Lakers have not done well with developing players. Hood Schifino, Max Christie, these type of guys. Like, the Lakers have not developed really anyone. Players have been okay at the Lakers and gone off and developed elsewhere that they've drafted, but they just have not developed anyone. So I would say Bronny James 17 to LA. They're just that desperate to keep LeBron. At 18 to the Orlando Magic is Jacoby Walter. This is another one of those where it's like an absolute steal. A guy who was projected to go number 4 at one stage. He's going to be a decent defender, going to be a decent shooter. He's a really, really safe pick for a good Orlando Magic team. So I got him at 18. At number 19, we've got Kel'el Ware. Kel'el Ware to Toronto. I think they're going to draft a big anyway. And a lot of people have Edey going here. And I think with Edey off the board, I would go with Kel'el Ware. I would personally, like, this is a guy that I think might be the biggest sleeper of this draft. Like, I'm dead serious. I would take this guy around 8. But I do think he's going to fall. He is a 7. He's the same, whatever height Alex Sarr is, he's the same height. He runs faster than Sarr. He jumps equally as high as Sarr. He shoots better than Sarr. His touch is better than Alex Sarr. The only difference is that he doesn't have the motor of Alex Sarr, but the only real way to tell if somebody's going to work hard is based on their own improvement. And his improvement from his freshman to his sophomore year was so big that I'm very sure that he's not lazy. He probably just looks like he doesn't really care about basketball. But again, that's the Anthony Edwards, the Gigi Jackson problem. Like, I'll believe it when I see it. I think the only thing you can judge by is what he's shown rather than what's being said about him. I think him at 19, he's going to be a steal. 20, I think the Cavs take Tristan da Silva. Look, he's a win now type player. He's someone that'll come in and probably contribute right away. They've been starting Dean Wade. I think that by the end of his rookie season, he should be better than Dean Wade. I think this is a guy that can play the 3, he can play the 4 in a team that kind of needs that. I can see them trading away Jared Allen and starting to run like, and that 4 position is open, spreading the floor out a little bit beside Evan Mobley at the 5. And I do think he is the best player to get in order, well, if they want to fill that position with a rookie or with someone that's already on the roster. I think he has a higher ceiling than a Dean Wade, but I'd say Dean Wade will probably start off season starting if they get rid of Jared Allen. At number 21, the New Orleans Pelicans take Kyle Filipowski. Again, he's another guy who's dropped. So, like, he got cooked in the tournament. He was a guy who's projected to go nearly top 10. He's a skilled big. Like, what more can you ask for? He's 6'11". He's got decent hands. Like, he's a Mo Wagner type player, maybe without the starting brawls consistently. He'll be good. Like, I don't think he'll be anything special, but at 21, he's not a bad pick. At 22, you've got Yves Missy, who is gonna go to Phoenix. And I just think, as far as their big guys go, they just need someone in a different mold to a Jusuf Nurkic. They just need a little bit more size. They need a little bit more athleticism. I think he brings that. He brings you just like an opposite to Jusuf Nurkic. And it's a team that desperately needs depth more than anything. And I think the center depth is something that he can come in and give you some minutes right away. We've seen what just athletes can do with good passing point guards, which I know the Suns don't have one. But I think the rim or the rollers are going to be quite important for the future of basketball, to be honest, especially with the success of the Mavs. And then this is my strange pick, and this is the Milwaukee Bucks selecting Dadier. I think he was pretty decent in Germany. He's been pretty decent when he's played in the French national team. He's fine. He's a really long wing. He's like a 6'8", 6'9" wing. He shoots the ball at a mediocre rate. He was okay in the Euro Cup, which is second highest standard. Like, a lot of mocks have Carlton Carrington going here, and I don't know. I just think wing shooting, like length and wing shooting, is something you can't really teach, and this guy's got it. So I'm gonna have him at 23. I think he's a decent enough pick there. So after that, we have got Ryan Dunn to New York Knicks. Now this is the best situation possible for him. This guy is the best defender in the draft. He's the best athlete in the draft. He cannot shoot to save his life. Whoever the hell taught Kawhi Leonard how to shoot, you just bring them in. Just from looking at what they did in college, I haven't seen someone that reminded me as much of Kawhi Leonard as him. He is elite at everything other than shoot. Like, not elite at everything, but like, he's just an elite. He could be an elite prospect if he could just shoot the ball. So for me, I'm just like, New York is the perfect place because worst case scenario, he'll come in and lock someone up. He's freaky athletic. Playing for Tibbs, he could be really, really good. So I'm probably higher on him the most, but I'm going to have him at 24. At number 25, Nikola Jurisic. Nikola Jurisic coming into that Knicks team could straight away give them something. And I think for a really good team, for a late first round pick to give you something is always good. He's not a terrible defender. I've seen people calling him a 3-and-D guy. He's not a great defender. He's not terrible. He's a pretty good passer. I've seen him also compared to Denny Avdia, whose main asset is his defense. Either way, pretty decent passer, pretty decent shooter, can create his own shot a little bit. Looks dominant against weak opposition. So obviously it's like, even he looked brilliant in the combine. He's been good for Mega, and like he's been as good as Nikola Topic for Mega. For me, it's just like, I just feel that the way he moves off the ball, the way he cuts, his passing, his feel for the game, I think it's going to allow him to play pretty early in his NBA career. I think he's going to be a really, really nice player, especially for someone like the Knicks where you don't really need him, but he could also help you big time. Tyler Smith is coming in here at number 26, and Tyler Smith's going to go to the Wizards. Look, he's just, I don't know about the Ignite. I really don't know about the Ignite, and I'm pretty sure he went to OT before the Ignite. Like, there's some times where I'm like, you gotta question people's decisions that they've made. He was fine for the Ignite, but it's so hard to judge because the Ignite were so bad. He's a big wing, or kind of a 3-4, a small 4, but like a big 3, probably better at the 4. Can shoot the ball a bit. But it was so hard to judge. I think he goes in the first round, but it's so hard to judge based on the Ignite. Then we have got Bobby Klintman. And this is another guy where it's like, the tools are there. He's 6'9", he's long, he can play a bit. But the problem is like, it's the road he went on. So he went to Wake Forest, wasn't very good at Wake Forest, and he goes to Australia for a year, and you're like, I don't know, someone that jumps ship. I just don't know how it feels, someone that'll jump ship from somewhere that doesn't work and still didn't really perform in Australia. The late first round pick, just because of his athleticism, I don't think is bad. I don't think is a crazy choice, but I still think around 27 for him, especially because it's a team like the Timberwolves. I think he could help them just because of his, again, I think he could help the Timberwolves. At 28 is the Denver Nuggets, and I think they take Adem Bona from UCLA. And you might be saying, like, this guy's going to go in the second round. More than likely. But I'm just looking at the Denver Nuggets. What do the Nuggets need as much as anything? They need a backup for Jokic. And I think getting a backup for Jokic that could also play with Jokic is important. Like we've seen with Jokic the amount of passes that he can get to Aaron Gordon, especially playing in the dunker position to just dunk it. The lobs that Luka's throwing. I think you could play Jokic the 4 and him at the 5 in that dunker spot, and he could be effective. I think he's a guy that could come in for Jokic and give him something different at the center position. I actually do think that he's someone that, if he's there at 28, could be a really good option for the Denver Nuggets. At number 29, we've got Johnny Furphy. This is a guy that a lot of people expected to go back to. A lot of people expect him to go back to Kansas, honestly. He wasn't particularly athletic at the combine, but he can hit shots. He's going to, 29, the Jazz. He'll get opportunities. He'll be fine. And then the last pick in the first round. And now this is one where it's like, I don't really know how I feel about this one. It's Azan Almansa. And this guy is like, I probably put more value in international competition than most people. And my whole thing is like, this guy was the MVP of the World Cup. This is a World Cup where Alex Sarr did not look great. Zachary Ricochet did not look great. There were obviously a lot of other players that would have played in this World Cup. This is the cream of the crop. This is the cream of the crop of all like young players in the world. Like, if you want to look at some of the USA teams, like Chet playing it, Wemby playing it, like all the best players play in this competition when they're young, and he was the MVP. He went to Ignite, and he really struggled. But the problem is with him is that he's 6'9", is a center, probably doesn't have that much ability to play the power forward position. But I think a team like Boston, I know, I just think he's smart. He's smart. He can play a bit. I think that he'll fit into Boston. I think he'll fit in as a glue guy. I think he'll fit in as a role player. Especially because he is young. I just think, but it's so hard to judge based on the Ignite. Having him at 30 is as high as I can put him. I would love to put him higher and be like, oh, he was absolutely dominant in international competition. Just like I'd love to put Melvin Ajinka in the first round, but it's not going to happen. I do think that he's probably going to go in and around between 30 and 40 in this draft. So anyway, that is the video. That is the mock draft for the first round. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.